Hey, what's up guys, this is MugenLord here, and today we want to talk about Sony, PlayStation Network, and Helldivers 2. As I said before, man, we have a lot to cover this week. There's been a lot of controversy, just like last time we talked about Microsoft and their decision to close down 4 studios, more specifically, which got people upset, was more of Tango Games, the creators behind the creative Hi-Fi Rush, which pretty much had people confused after Microsoft had boasted that the game was successful in all metrics, just for the studio to close down anyway. So there's a lot of controversy surrounding about that, and Sarah Bond had to come in and pretty much give us no type of answer at all, and pretty much had to put on her PR talk in order to avoid and dodge a lot of the heavy criticism. So if you guys are interested in that video, you can definitely check that out. But I want to talk about Sony right now is because there was a big heated controversy between PC gamers and Sony with their PlayStation Network when it was involving Helldivers 2 in the PC version. And I will say this, gamers have fought back and they've won. And I guess you would say that the battle was won, but the war isn't over because there's more that's surrounding it. But the company, the former lead writer praises the community for fighting against Sony when it came to the decision to pretty much put Helldivers 2 in the PC community in the bind when it comes to needing or acquiring a PlayStation Network, I guess you would say, account in order to continue to play the game. So before we even dive into this video, because there's a lot to cover when it comes to this, make sure you hit the subscribe button, the notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. I think when it comes to this story and when it comes to this situation, it just proves that gamers, we have the power here. And you have to realize that we have the power because they want our money. In order for us to be able to fight back against this, we have to make our voice as vocal as possible. And a lot of you guys have been doing it. We talked about it when it comes to Stellar Blade, and you guys are still fighting on that forefront. And it's kind of funny is how that the 2 prominent games right now, that's pretty much the beacon of giving back to the community or giving what the gamers want, is highly scrutinized and under attack with Stellar Blade and now Helldivers 2. So we're going to dive into this article real quick from Games Radar, where they pretty much, we're going to talk about what the former writer says, you know, about the community and congratulating them for fighting back. But I also want to dig deeper to what's really going on behind the scenes, because it looks like on the surface that we did win a battle here, but it seems like other people was in other casualties was affected as a result of that, and the news itself surrounding this is still going on. It's still growing, and new information is coming out at this very point. So I may not even be able to cover everything because this news is constantly being updated. So it says from Games Radar, former Helldivers 2 lead writer praises the shooter community for uniting against the PlayStation Network mandate. We trained them to fight together, and they fought together. The writer also hopes the community sees the fascism roleplay behind the surface level. So it says, a former Helldivers 2 lead writer has praised the shooters community for uniting against the recent PSN mandate. News broke last week that Helldivers 2 PCs will be required to link to an active PlayStation Network account later this month. The stipulation from Sony and Arrowhead was then summarily walked back just a few days later when the shooter was review bombed on Steam, and in a message from players to let the 2 companies know how displeased they were with the mandate. Yes, it was a big battle. I mean, it was everybody from all 4 fronts, especially from the PC community, was really talking about this. And the crazy thing about it is you still had people who was defending this crazy ass decision for them to do this. And the amount of gaslighting that they used against players who was very vocal about this was just so ridiculous. And you have to see some of these people who were pretty much behind the decision that Sony was making by trying to enforce this mandate and the impact behind it. So it says Inverse asks former Helldivers 2 lead writer Russ Nickel about his take on players role-playing Super Earth's fascism, leading the writer to touch on the recent pushback against the PlayStation Network requirement. Nickel called the role-playing amazing, before adding that he hoped most of them understand what we're trying to say and don't just see it from a surface level. Just the last couple of days have been one of the most exciting parts of the experience for me, Nickel continues. The whole community came together to say there are players in other countries who aren't going to be able to play the game. We are all going to stand up for each other and thus be united front. It's just like, oh, we have trained them to fight together, and they have fought together. They were standing up for something good, which was their fellow players. And that was the thing. You have so many people, especially the PlayStation players who's on PlayStation Network, and you have the tourists who don't even have the game but weighing in on it. People were using examples. Well, Microsoft requires you to have an Xbox account in order to access this, but the people who were totally against the whole thing with Helldivers, they were saying that, no, you don't understand. Enabling this, enforcing this mandate for us to have a PlayStation Network account, you understand, PSN is not available in a lot of countries. And a lot of countries won't be able to play this game. This is why we're fighting back on this. And it seemed like people on the opposite end, the detractors, didn't seem to understand that. And we're going to continue on from here. So in the aftermath of the debacle, Helldivers 2 has still been delisted from 171 countries around the world that didn't have access to the PlayStation Network before the requirement was dropped. The good news is that games director is actively talking with Sony and Valve about getting Helldivers 2 back on the digital storefronts of said countries as soon as possible. And this also impacted Steam itself. Steam had to be able to give refunds and all kinds of things to fix this problem. This problem that a lot of people wasn't prepared for, which is crazy that Steam has to deal with this. But we're going to continue. So what we have next is that. So then what we have Pirate Software, someone that's on Twitter that's been keeping a tab of what's been going on as far as the whole Helldiver situation is going on as far as countries not being able to have access to the game. So Pirate Software had pretty much essentially said that Sony has now removed access to Helldivers 2 in early regions that cannot make a PlayStation Network account. This denies access to every player that bought the game in those regions over the last several months. You can also no longer buy the game in a number of currencies tied to this region. So yes, this right here is just some of the list of countries that's affected by it. Never seen a golden goose killed so publicly in life. And this is the decision. This is the thing that boggles my mind about what Microsoft and even Sony is doing. Here it is with Helldivers 2, a highly praised game. Everybody got together and bought the game, support the game, and show how much they love the game. Just for Sony to turn around and make a decision like this. Now, people said that, no, this has always been, as far as PlayStation having a PlayStation account, this was something that was already implemented at the very beginning. They just haven't enforced it. So they decided to enforce it now, and now we're starting to see the repercussions behind it. But the fact is that them having to do this to begin with was something so stupid. This game made so much money for them and gave Sony so much praise in the decision to have this as their exclusive to boast and brag about, just from the turnaround and just pretty much screw over their audience. And we're not even done yet. Because after that, we have Pirate Software said that the Helldivers 2, in which he summarized everything, the Helldivers 2 community was tricked by Sony. See, it says Sony declared having a PlayStation Network account would be mandatory to play Helldivers 2. The community revolted and trashed the game's reviews scored to 13% positive. Sony walked it back and stated they wouldn't be making PlayStation Network mandatory. Declaring victory, the community undid the massive wave of negative reviews. Yet, Sony did something sinister in the background. They restricted Helldivers 2 from being purchased in all 177 countries where PlayStation Network isn't available. They fooled you, and the devs are still fighting to fix it. So right now, what's been going on, and from the time of this video, this is current news. By the time you visit this video, this probably pretty much will get updated by this point. But For the simple fact is that they turned around and now it can't be purchased in 177 countries. It's like the damnedest thing they can possibly do. Talk about shooting yourself in the foot. What is the purpose of this? And the thing is, it seemed like that Sony's trying to slowly implement themselves in the PC community. They're trying to bring this community into their PlayStation Network ecosystem, and it's just not working out. And now you're starting to see a lot of gamers saying, no, do not bring any more PlayStation games over to PC because of situations like this. And we're just not done yet, because after the developers of Arrowhead been working so hard and still to this very moment fighting and talking with Sony to try to rectify the situation, because it's not fair to the 177 countries who's missing out on such a great title that many people have grown to love over the past couple months that it has been released. It's not done yet. Sony still is doubling down, because Duxarto pretty much tweeted out that Ghost of Tsushima developers revealed that PC players would need a PlayStation Network account to play the multiplayer mode. Single player would not require it. So this is another thing that's going on. So now we have another PlayStation exclusive that's now requiring you. So it makes you think, what about Horizon Forbidden West? What about Horizon Zero Dawn and many other titles that's planning to go over to the PC platform from Sony itself? So now we have this situation, and in an article it says Ghost of Tsushima on PC. So it says Ghost of Tsushima on PC won't require a PlayStation Network account, but there's a catch. So it says Ghost of Tsushima is finally making its way to PC when the Director's Cut arrives on Steam May 16, 2024. However, players looking to experience everything the game has to offer without a PlayStation Network may be in for a shock. So like I said, people love Ghost of Tsushima. It's one of those PlayStation exclusives that everybody give high praise. And the thing is, the multiplayer aspect was a free add-on that they added to the game, and it appears that PC players won't be able to experience that because they won't be able, if they don't get a PlayStation Network account, they won't be able to get the experience of the full game. So you buy the game and won't be able to have access to the full game unless you make a PlayStation Network account. You see how all this goes, and this still takes us back to the all digital. This is what we experience when we go into an all digital era, having all these different third-party accounts, or all these different accounts in order to play a certain game. And if you don't make the account, then you won't have access to the entire game or a portion of the game after you spend $70 or even more on the game. And this is the current state of gaming. So as we continue, it says Ghost of Tsushima PC release is one of the most highly anticipated ports of the year. And for the first time since its original PS4 launch, PC players will be able to experience the Samurai Epic in all its glory. To make things even better, the Director's Cut Edition features exclusive PC features that aim to improve the game's visuals and frame rate. And that's the wonders about why PC gamers are like happy when, you know, Sony make decisions like this, or Microsoft make decisions like this, or any third party decide to bring their game over to the PC, because the PC community, man, is an open platform, because you know what the PC player is going to do when it comes to mods, increasing the visual, the visual graphics, and even coming up with expansion packs to add on to the game. You know the PC community is going to have a ball with this. So this is something that they're looking forward to. So it says that the upcoming port will also be the first PlayStation title on PC that utilizes a new overlay that includes a friend list, trophy settings, and profile. While Sucker Punch Productions confirmed that players aren't required to have a PlayStation Network account to play the game's single player mode, the same can't be said for its multiplayer. And they posted on X that Sucker Punch Productions revealed that players looking to delve into Ghost of Tsushima Legends will need a active PlayStation Network account to access the mode. Just so you are aware, a PlayStation Network account is required for Legends Online multiplayer mode and to use the PlayStation overlay. It is not required to play the single player game. And that's ridiculous, man, that you can't have the entire game. You still have to have an extra account. And that's what gamers are tired of. You even see this inside the streaming service with their subscription service. There are so many things and so many accounts that you have to make that at the point it gets hard to keep a track of them, to keep track of all these different accounts. And every account has a different profile. You got to put your bank account on it in order for you to make online purchases and everything like that. And people just want everything to be simple. Everybody want things to be streamlined. People want to be able to just get on Steam, buy the game, and that's it. So not only that you have to get a Steam account, make a Steam account, and most of your libraries on Steam, now all of a sudden you have to make another account, which is the PlayStation Network account, in order to be able to have full access to their games. Same thing with having an Ubisoft account, an EA account. You have all these different accounts that you have to make in order for you to have access, even an Epic Games account. And gamers don't want to go to that extra length to do those things, because that's more things that you have to manage as far as that's concerned. So it's important to note that Ghost of Tsushima Legends is completely separate from the single player campaign and is a standalone experience. Instead of focusing on the Mongol invasion of the base game, Legends sees up to 4 players team up to take on missions based on Japanese mythology. However, those looking to team up with friends across PC and PlayStation 5 would need to make a PSN account, an area that's been proven controversial following the recent Helldivers 2, which we just talked about. While Sony has since backed down from the Helldivers 2 PC players to have a PlayStation Network account, it remains uncertain whether Ghost of Tsushima will receive similar treatment. So yes, this is another battle that gamers will once again have to come together to fight against. And I don't understand, like, Sony, you had something working for you, and I don't know what's the decision. And this is what I keep talking about, that gaming is no longer about the gamers anymore. It's about the bottom line, which I said in my Microsoft video that I talked about 2 days ago. And the same is happening here with Sony. Like, this generation of gaming is more about bottom line, getting those investments and going back and pleasing the investors, instead of creating games, creating visions, creating worlds for gamers to get lost in and enjoy. And gamers are willing to give their money after being treated well, and gamers aren't being treated well. And I can understand this too, that most of the time this is not the decision from the studio, it's more so the decision from the executives that's above them. A lot of these developers just want to make a game and make a great game and hope that players love their games. And now these companies are they're shackled to the overlords, and this is what we're experiencing. And as I've said before, from time and time again, this is the real issue within the gaming industry. I know here on the channel we talk about a lot about the culture war stuff and stuff being woke, but that's just a small part of what's damaging gaming. And and here on this channel, I don't want this to be the culture war aspect to be the focal point of it, because in reality it is the small factors. The culture war aspect isn't the thing that's destroying gaming. This is the thing that's destroying gaming. This is the thing that we really need to fight, while at the same time not ignoring the culture war aspect. That's the battle that we still need to fight, but we can't lose sight of worrying about what things are being woke when this is the real problem. Because as I said before, we get rid of the culture war. If we happen to win that war, we're still stuck with a problem here, and this is the main problem. By destroying this, it will automatically destroy the culture war aspect of it, because when you destroy this aspect, it goes back to what it's really being about, the core aspect. It's about the gamers, it's about the games, it's about the experience, and everybody at this point will be satisfied. Everybody will have their time appreciated as the gamer. They will feel though that their money is being well spent. So that pretty much wraps up this video. I definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment sections below. What do you think about this whole decision that Sony just made when it comes to Helldiver, and just forcing gamers, especially PC gamers more importantly, forcing them to get a PlayStation Network account, and in turns also affecting a lot of countries who can't have access to that. So definitely want to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Do you think there will be eventual fix, and do you think it's about time that the game industry experience a reset? So if you like the video, hit the like button, subscribe button for more gaming content here on this channel. This is MugenLord signing off. I'll see you game fiends later. Peace out.